Ladies and gentlemen, Insight from Ukraine and Russia has another awesome phone call for us. This is some wild stuff. This is an intercepted, mobilized soldier telling his story of how he escaped the front. This is just wild. As always, guys, you know he has a great channel with tons of intercepted phone calls, and I always link it in the description. You should absolutely check it out. In fact, I'm going to make good, as always, give the man a like, and let's get into it.
Here in the first interception is obviously a racist and lunatic. The soldier you'll hear in the first interception is obviously a racist and lunatic, but he told some important details about Russians who stay near Luhansk, so let's listen to it.
Oh man. Okay, wow, he's really, this is, if you guys know, he's very usually straightforward about how he describes these phone calls. So to preface it by saying he's a lunatic and a racist has got to be pretty bad. Okay, but buckle in. If you suddenly see large gaps in the video, you'll know it's because I had to cut some things out for YouTube to let me run it.
Такое отношение к народу, елки-палки, это вообще. У нас один валяется еще труп, его даже никто не увозит.
Yeah, okay, so right now he's saying that there is an unalived person right next to him, and nobody's even tried to take him. Okay, this is sort of wild on a bunch of levels. First off, it represents a massive breakdown in basic logistics, right? There's a couple of logistic systems that militaries need to maintain, but you know, there's priorities, right? Obviously, the number one priority is your fighting troops, and that's keeping them fed, giving them water, and giving them ammunition, followed very shortly by medical supplies. But then after you beat those four things, then you start to get into, I mean, I guess five if you include equipment, equipment sustainment, spare parts, and oil, lubricants, fuels. So after those five, right, then you start to look at other things. This includes mail, but right up there is mortuary affairs, and that's its own specialty branch in the military, and it is important for a variety of reasons. But honestly, one, it's a hygiene problem to have this, casualties remain out in the open, decomposing, right? That's a huge problem. Second, and almost more importantly, it's a tremendous morale killer. I mean, look, he's talking to his mom. This is the first thing that he says, right? It's not, this is probably not the first casualty, KIA, there we go, KIA that this guy has encountered. But the fact that the military has so little regard for their fallen comrades that they just are left in the road to rot has struck him so deeply. It's the very first thing he tells his mom. The design of wallets as we know them date back to the 1690s when Marco Polo first journeyed east and encountered paper currency. If you saw a wallet from the 1700s, you would recognize the design as the same basic one we have today. Our way of life has evolved so much since 1690, but our wallets have stayed basically the same, except of course for today's sponsor, Ridge Wallets. Ridge has brought wallets into the modern age. They have a sleek, minimalist design that make it easy to carry your essential cards, ID, and cash in a compact package. Get the best offer with ridge.com/combatveteranreacts. And right now you can save up to 40% off through December 22nd. Ridge wallets hold up to 12 cards and come in a ton of sleek designs. So you finally have options other than cheap black leather or cheap brown leather. From 24 karat gold to stone-washed titanium to even laser engraved topographic maps. The designs are honestly sick. And the security nerd in me loves that Ridge wallets are RFID blocking, which helps prevent digital pickpocketing of your card's data. Ridge also has key cases that make sure your keys stay organized without the jingle jangle every time you move. Plus, the key cases come in many of the same slick designs so you can have a matching set. Ridge has a huge end of year sale going on right now. Go to ridge.com/combatveteranreacts and you can save up to 40% off through December 22nd.
Комбат вообще насрать по рубль. Я говорю, 15. Да, ну, тушенки не дают, нифига не дают, что урвем. То есть, мужики у нас вообще по двое суток не едят. Другой этот отряд. Тут
Yeah, this is also something we've talked about, is this idea that the Russian military doesn't operate with quite the same cultural norm as Western militaries, right? And in Western militaries, for example, you would traditionally distribute rations to your troops in proportion, right? If not proportionately to their needs, then yeah, proportionately to their needs, right? And it used to be a joke among some World War II soldiers that before going on an offensive, they would receive some level of extra rations. But this was very careful and deliberate. So again, it really is a testament to the breakdown of the Russian logistics system, that some men don't eat for 2 days straight and some have food. It also says that those with food are hoarding it, that they don't have any loyalty or commitment to their unit. That would be something that, like, hoarding food in this situation would be, to me, would be an unacceptable breakdown of discipline. But as he mentions, the battalion commander, their officers just don't care. Obviously, there's some exceptions, right? We had soldiers that loved Slim Jims, like, a lot. And yes, there was definitely some Slim Jim hoarding. People that got Slim Jims in the mail, they went ham for it, and they wouldn't let that go for anything. It got so crazy. I never cared about, like, care package goodies. I didn't need, like, anything. I'm kind of a minimalist. But I would tell my mom, I'd be like, yo, mail your boy all the Slim Jims you can fit. I don't mean a lot of Slim Jims. I mean all the Slim Jims the post office will let you put in here. And then I would just open them up and I would just let them get distributed among the squads so that everybody got access to Slim Jims. Because you know what? You got to look out for your guys, right? Anyway, hoarding that stuff is cute and funny. But if people have no food, then that's sort of screwed up.
У кого язва открывается, у кого туберкулез, начал кровью картаться.
Tuberculosis. Okay, this is weird because to get tuberculosis, it spreads in very close enclosed quarters, which says, I mean, military barracks are a common one, so it seems really possible that you could get tuberculosis in a military barracks. Also, tuberculosis is very easily treated nowadays. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Tuberculosis is highly treatable, but there's some subsets of tuberculosis. Actually, I think they're in Russian prisons that are resistant to common antibiotics, meaning that they've become very, very, very dangerous. Again, a testament to the breakdown in the Russian logistics systems, where this is something that requires a pretty routine screening. Even American prisoners are screened constantly for TB because it's so dangerous to get loose in an enclosed prison. It makes me think, though, when you say TB, I think this guy might be Wagner Group. It would also explain his phenomenal level of trashiness.
который ехал.
Okay, let me see for a sec. PSKOV. I wonder if that's a prison. PSKOV. It's a city in Russia, okay, here we go. It's a city in northwest Russia. Recent history. Let's find out if there's a prison. Nope. Doesn't say anything about a prison on Wikipedia. Prison? Huh. The answer is maybe. Maybe. There's some prisons in Pskov Oblast. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I'd say it's possible. I'll still say it's possible that this gentleman is a Wagner Group. Is with
Комбат
Wagner.
сказал, да, получается, поселка 20 километров надо ехать, и от поселка еще до госпиталя сколько-то. И он говорит, идите пешком. Что, куда народ идет, я не понимаю, по 50 лет, по 60 мужикам, и они что-то хотят. Они что, на курорт, что приехали, блин?
Oh, evening now? Okay, no, he's a recently mobilized soldier. Right, 50 to 60-year-old men got here and they want something. Did they think it's a resort?
Тут такие как бы вылазки.
This is what happens when your information diet is the equivalent of fast food. If you consume nothing but Russian propaganda, then you can get tricked into signing up for this failing war effort, which, as we discussed, an absolute train wreck of logistics, and believe you'll be properly taken care of. Don't get me wrong, I deployed with soldiers in their 50s. I think even one or two who had deployed over 60. But one, they were assigned to roles that were physically appropriate for what they could do, right? Because if you're a 50-year-old soldier, you're like a very senior person. You have a lot of experience to share. You don't need to be humping gear in 135-degree heat every day. Though I'll tell you, some of those guys would have done it. Right, they're in planning, they're in logistics, they're in coordination cells, they're, schmoozing and taking advantage of the fact that they know every single living, breathing person in the entire battalion.
Вы чего делаете?
А мы сзади обороны стоим. Тут 3 линии. Первая линия это передовая. Если первая провалится, бегают, мы держим. Мы на второй стоим. Мы, короче, в самом пекле. Тут летает между нами, все летает. Вчера.
Interesting. We've heard about this defense in depth is what it's called when you have a series of trench lines.
Да, вот тоже рядом сложились мины. Думаю, только блиндаж, чтобы не прилетел снаряд.
Так это какое направление это у вас?
Кременная, поселок. Нас вчера окружение, нас окружали вчера.
So he is in Kremenina, and for those of you guys that haven't been on my map updates that I do every single day, or on the Patreon updates, which you guys should definitely check out the Patreon. Kremenina is, let's see, it should be right here. So you can see here, he probably means he's at the Kremenina front. So he's probably around here. This is actually, here we go, trying to encircle us. You can see there's a salient here where this is where Russian controlled territory is. And this is probably right where he is. So if this is the front lines, I would guess and say he's probably back here or even potentially back here, right? So this way you can see that he'll be feeling like they're trying to encircle him. There'll be troops on either side. If these guys break and run, they'll reinforce his defenses right here. So I would guess and say he's somewhere in this 2 to 4 kilometer area. Again, at the time of this interception.
Цепочку возьмут, что как бы вчера, да, провалили оборону, там сверкало все. А так, как бы нормально.
Нормально, да? Понравилось?
Ты привык уже, я говорю, тут когда бомбят, нормально это. Когда не бомбят, страшно становится. Тут хохлов уже нету. Арабы, французы, канадцы,
вчера, да.
Финляндия, америкосы.
С Европы, да.
Whoa. Yeah, you're right. That's some racism right there.
Тебе привезти ухо вам?
Уйди, успокойся. Начнешь сам еще собирать.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, wow. He's also a lunatic. Yeah. There you go. I was wondering. I was like, this seems pretty typical. Yeah, I mean, so it probably implies that he is facing off against a Ukrainian Foreign Legion unit, right? Unlike, say, the YPP, Ukraine seems to have organized entire foreign legions. Usually, I think it seems like in linguistic groups. So Canadians, I've heard that they have like Canadians, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all kind of together, and English proficient members of the Caucasus. I think there's a separate Georgia battalion of the Foreign Legion. I think there's also a South American battalion, which I'd be very curious to learn more about.
The next intercepted phone call was made by a mobilized Russian soldier who escaped the front, but for some reason you'll hear only his part of the conversation.
Не знаю, сейчас Миша хочу перевестись, понял? С одноклассником со своим, в сотке служит. Да ну, там пизда.
Okay, so it's possible that the 100th is represents a failure of mobilization, meaning 99 other battalions have been taken out. But oftentimes this is done for either historic reasons, like there's a World War II battalion that was raised in your city that's the 100th, or it's also possible that it's just naming conventions sometimes get weird just to be weird and to make it harder to tease out which units are where.
я тебе отвечаю, нахуй, понял? Да, ебать, не гони, я блядь, просто так бы не съебался бы, понял? Я нахуй говорил, ебать, что, блядь, я говорю, я нахуй уйду в Сочи, если...
Yep, we talked about this. These units just don't have cohesion. They aren't interested, especially in mobilized soldiers, right? They probably, I imagine, if you're a professional trooper, you probably look at these guys, these newly mobilized guys, as civilians in uniform, cannon fodder who will be gone in a matter of days. And so that's probably why they get treated so horribly.
Так будут относиться, ебать, хуйня. Вы не должны, понимаешь, от укропа в 120 метров сидеть, ебать. Раз засунули туда, 2 недели нахуй отсидел, ебать. Потом сделали ротацию, ебать. 6 дней нахуй посидел на домике.
Yeah, well, this dude sounds furious. 120 meters is so close. I mean, it's hard to explain how close that is, but it's you don't need an optic to hit targets that. You barely even need training to hit targets that close. It's so close, it's considered actually danger close for artillery. But obviously, even if you don't have to worry about artillery, being inside small arms range is also really bad news.
Опять нахуй засунули, еще нахуй ближе, понял? К ним уже там 120 метров блядь, было до них. Опять там сколько недель, около 2 недель, дней 13 нахуй, наверное, отсидел. Ебать нахуй, там говорит, кто пойдет на большую землю? Ебать. Я говорю, ну давай я схожу, блядь.
Who will go to the big land? I think he means like an open area, maybe, or who will maybe do some sort of offensive.
Взял же весь мешок и попивал. Чтоб ты понял, нахуй, короче, чтоб выйти оттуда и зайти, нахуй, ты заходишь в окопы в эти, по тебе пулеметчик, это раз. Потом, нахуй, если пулеметчик нахуй не достает...
Oh, he's asking for like a runner. They were in the trenches and the commander asked for some sort of runner or something, and he had to get out and be engaged with machine gun fire. And some sort of IDF, probably mortars.
Понял. Точно так же нахуй на выход, ебать. Еще и по минному полю ходишь. Пошел же я на ротан, на школу с доставщиком.
This is like, sounds like a stream of consciousness. He doesn't even appear to realize that his mom probably doesn't know what the school is. Saying it's to the 9th apartment, yeah.
Приходит сейчас через полтора, говорит, нас идет.
Could be like a 9th position or something like that. Some term for a position.
Квартиру сейчас кидает. Я сел, я говорит, я возвращаться не хочу. Ну, говорю, короче, давайте. Никто мне не звонил, я, блядь, когда мы ушли, ну, что-то там...
Love how he just told the commander, like, I'm leaving. You'd be better off just dipping out at night, right? And then you'll just end up reported as a casualty and you'll get to move on, right? If you tell the commander you're ditching, you still will probably get reported as a casualty, but you know, why make it easier to create a paper trail that you've deserted? But again, this guy sounds like he's in a heightened emotional state and isn't thinking very clearly.
Я не знаю, ну, я ему говорю, я возвращаться не буду, пошел там к командиру, понял? Да, я ему так, там пи***, понял? Он на полигоне там так стелился, пацаны, я буду с вами, все будет...
Yeah. You know, it's bad when people keep saying these things, that you're going to be in one place. You know, before I deployed, they told us we were going to go to place called Bamiyan, which is right next to Bagram Air Base, and it was mad chill. It was so chill, they said you didn't even need to wear body armor when you went out, right? Because there were no Taliban. The Afghans there all loved us. And then we got reassigned to Nangarhar province, and boy howdy, was it a real switcheroo.
Никто там сидеть не будет. Мы будем на второй линии, потому что мы на рот, в рот. И мы резко сропа в пехоту.
Ah, yes, this is the other switcheroo. They're like, you're going to be training Afghan police units. And then they're like, just kidding, you're now battle space owners. Congratulations, infantry.
Ну, понял, уже нахуй ну надо.
Thank you for watching this video till the end.
Yeah, some stories are universal. Of course, give my guy a like. And as always, thank you so much to my Patreons. If you guys want access to all the viral combat videos that I cannot show you on YouTube, you want to do that on the Patreon. All right. Thanks so much to my Lieutenant tier patrons, and I'll see you all in the next one.